Presenting a question of order. We return to Shakespeare's First Folio, published in 1623. Why was The Tempest chosen as the first play in the First Folio? There are countless theories as to why. I believe I have found a good reason for it in the text of the play. But before we continue, this is Prospero Podiani. He was a renowned Italian book collector and scholar. He was an expert at evaluating books. He owned one of the largest book and manuscript collections in Europe, and his collection became the foundation of the Augusta Library in Perugia. He was also a member of the Accademia degli Insensati, which means the Academy of the Senseless. The Academy was one of many different scholarly groups that traveled through Europe who believed that learning and knowledge was the key to advancing society and the human race. Edward de Vere may have met him. From late 1575 to September 1576, de Vere traveled the continent. He visited some of the most illustrious courts in Europe, including Navarre and Venice. He spent most of his time in Italy, particularly Venice. It is possible he met Prospero in Perugia or elsewhere in Italy. De Vere as Prospero is easy to imagine. Like Prospero, de Vere was passionate about books. He purchased some of the most expensive volumes available at the time. He emulated the Accademia degli Insensati, when he owned Fisher's Folly just outside of London. While there is no direct evidence for it, the number of dedications and books which were made to him in that time, from the late 1580s to early 1590s, suggests that he did run Fisher's Folly, like the Accademia. And it is almost certain that Prospero was modeled after Podiani. The inset photo shows Sir John Gielgud as Prospero in Peter Greenaway's fabulous movie Prospero's Books, which I highly recommend. It may not be to everyone's taste, but it is full of magic and wonder. The reason I believe that The Tempest is supposed to be the first play in text, in the folio, is found in dialogue in Act 5, Scene 5, at the very end of the play, in which Prospero and Alonso are talking. Prospero: Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as, I not doubt, shall make it go quick away. The story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle, and in the morn I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I've hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. Alonso says, I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ears strangely. To which Prospero says, I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. The key to understanding why The Tempest was chosen as the first play is not just because it's the playwright's farewell to the stage, but is hidden within this dialogue. Prospero first says, "For this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as, I not doubt, shall make it go quick away." This is Prospero, the character, as addressing Alonso and those other characters by saying, "I'm going to tell you stories that'll make his evening go quickly." So what is he going to tell his audience? The story of my life. But more specifically, the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. In terms of the play, this isle means three different things. Prospero, the character, is talking about the island to which he and Miranda were exiled to many years previous to Act 1. The actor is talking about the isle as the stage. The writer is talking about a very different isle. To the person who is buying the First Folio for the first time, the earliest buyers of the First Folio in 1623, this isle could easily mean the island of England. The reason I say this is because later on in this little speech, he is talking about my Milan. My Milan is specific. It's an allusion to where the writer had spent most of his time, London and Wivenhoe and various places that De Vere stayed while writing his plays. He could have easily written, "I'm going to retire to Milan." But that wasn't his purpose. He's letting you know that my Milan is his home city. Alonso says, "I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely." That last phrase, "take the ear strangely," may mean something different now than it did then. Now it probably means a bizarre story. But early modern English, strangely, could mean something that is not yet known, as in a stranger is someone you do not know. Prospero says, furthermore, "I'll deliver all." In the context of the play, all would be the speeches that he gave to Miranda at the beginning of the play, telling her how they came to the island. In the context of the stage, well, that means pretty much the same thing, because the actor is telling Alonso, well, if I were to continue on with this, I'd give you all the story of Prospero's life. In the context of a person standing in a bookstall or sitting by the fire, reading the folio, all would mean the following book, the following pages. Here the author is telling you, from here on in, I'm going to tell you my life story. The trick is to find out how to discover what that story is and where it is located. That is the task of all people who believe and understand that De Vere was the man behind the name William Shakespeare. The epilogue further identifies the playwright with the play. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own. This is de Vere / Shakespeare announcing he has written his last play. His charms in the play itself is his magic. In terms of being an actor, his charms are his acting ability, the lines that he has spoken. The charms that the writer is telling you about are his words. The phrase, "I must be here confined by you," is a complex metaphor about the character and de Vere's life story, both which are trapped within the pages of the book. The character is saying he is confined by the listener. He is confined by the actor, too. The actor himself is confined by the writer. The writer is also saying that his lines are confined by the reader. Not only that, but they're confined by the covers of the book. The character Prospero has his dukedom, which he values as much as he values his books. "Since I have my dukedom got," he says. His dukedom is returned to him. The writer is also telling you that he values his books as much or above his dukedom. He says so at the very beginning of the play. The final couplet is, "As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free." The writer's wish is to be set free from his crimes, just as the character is set free from the play's curtain. Indulgence here means three different things. Prospero, the character, is talking to Alonso. The indulgence is that Alonso and his men will listen to his story. The audience, however, is addressed as by the actor. "Let your indulgence set me free" means the audience and their applause should be the indulgence that sets the actor free to return to his normal life. This is where I believe the rest of the books and the plays in the folio are his story. Because in the context of somebody reading the first folio, their indulgence is to read the text, and they will be setting free the story of the writer. Again, the trick is, how are you to distinguish the fictional from the fact? That is the subject of a much larger series of videos. The very first line of the epilogue in the first folio shows evidence of de Vere. The gematria sum of the first two italic uppercase letters is 17. The letter O is 14 and C is 3. The gematria sum of uppercase letters in the first two lines is 40. Notice that he's saying, "What strength I have's mine own." Another way of suggesting or hinting that, hey, I'm hidden here somewhere. This gives us another 1740 illusion in the first folio. We see this over and over and over again in the authorship game. The number 17 followed by 40, or the number 40 followed by 17. This is the man, Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, whose code name was also 40. He was Shakespeare. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.